Robert Henri said, "The object is not to make art, but to be in the wonderful state which makes art inevitable." And all of this time, I've been talking about space for creativity, putting down your phone, talking about attention, where we put our attention, how it's been fought over, and we are so distracted and so pulled in many different directions. Like I was just there, having to indicate because it's a truck pulling onto the motorway. One of the things that I offer my clients is just this idea of holding space. So not only do they make their own space by carving out time, or they make space by putting in their phones, by making sure that they've gotten their responsibilities out of the way so that they feel free and unencumbered. It could be financial space, so not feeling the pressure to make your art or your practice have to pay for itself quite yet. I mean, it can do in the future, and it doesn't even have to. But I think one of the things that having somebody external to you, a mentor, to be able to offer you a safe space where there's psychological safety, where experimentation is encouraged and even celebrated, where there's support for your ideas, whether they're whimsical or crazy or woo-woo, but actually just to know that somebody's there cheering you on, cheering on the small wins, and not, the last video I put up was all about accountability, and I think it's really helpful to be on the hook for something. So there's a sense of support, but also there's a sense of challenge. There's a sense of, hey, I need to be pushed in a new direction, and I need to be, because I think for a lot of us as creatives, myself included, we have a tendency to be, what's the word? Is flaky too harsh? Or kind of blown around by the wind, to be, kind of chasing after shiny things. I think it's okay to be on the hook, to say, hey, I'm going to do this. Now, that doesn't mean there has to be pressure. And it could mean that there's support, and usually support over a longer period of time. I find that's where I work best with my clients, where they really start to get over themselves, get over those inbuilt beliefs, some of them limiting beliefs, some of them things we've picked up from society, from our families, that limit the potential of our art, that limit the potential of the time that we invest. And I just, and it does take time to get over those things. It's the easy bit is, trying to put down your phone. The easy bit is trying to make some space in your mornings, afternoons, evenings, weekends. That's the easy bit. The hard bit is overcoming the programming and the mindsets that we had. And that stuff takes time. There's no quick fix for that, because they're so layered and so nuanced and so ingrained. Like some of them all the way back to like preschool, before you went to school and you were maybe 3, 4, like the ideas that we've gotten about work, the ideas that we've picked up about what's valuable and what's rewarding. And overcoming some of those things can be long-term. And that's partly why, like, my main offer is to work with people over, 9 to 12 months, to actually get them to define what their project is, whether that's a book, an album, a collection of artwork or photography, and to envision it, to plan it, to execute it, to bring it to fruition, and then to find a way to ship it to the world, put it out there. And it doesn't have to be social media. I mean, I think social media is easy, but I think there's so much more value in finding a way to display it. Like, it would be a shame to make that work and not actually have it available or accessible to the world or to an audience. Like, I've spoken many times before, and even in this car on another video, talked about the fact that there must be so many almost finished and possibly even finished works sitting in sheds, under beds, buried in cupboards, in attics that haven't seen the light of day. Amazing creative works that just have been bypassed. And I personally think that's a huge shame. So I do think that it's helpful to think through to the end process of getting it out to the world. And then it becomes less of your art and more of like a public, it's for the world. It's to beautify the world. Whether it's beautiful or not, like that's a descriptor that's not important. The piece of it being beautiful is the fact that it was created from you, created from your experience, created from your energy, your perspective on the world, the skill set that you've developed over years or decades. And I just think that it's important to put it out there. Okay, but to get serious for a second, and I'll even take the sunglasses off. It does take work. And if you're watching this video, there's a really good chance that you have been frustrated by how busy life is, how much time you spend on your phone doom scrolling, or watching videos on YouTube. Like, I think we're all guilty of it, but we all have a responsibility to ourselves and to our practice, and ultimately to the world, to show up and find out more about ourselves, discover what's really important to us, and get into a space where that art is inevitable. Create it again and again. And that is everything around equipment, tools, space, planning, finances, getting rest. So there's a whole ecosystem there. And that's what this idea I have around space for creativity allows for. There's a playlist that I'll link up here, and go and have a watch of that, because I kind of break down what each of the elements of space are that you can start to build for yourself. And you don't even have to work with me. You can just go do it yourself. If you are in that DIY frame of mind, go and figure out how to implement these things for yourself. But if you've had enough DIY and it's time for you to move on, maybe it's time for us to have a conversation. My details are in the description. It's just RileyMiller.com. I offer everything from 90-minute sessions to short, intensive, kind of 1-2 month engagements to get you started, and then like a long-term kind of process where we'll work through all of that stuff, but the aim is to get you at the other side with a finished piece of work. A big chunk of work, not just, a single piece. Actually, an album of 9 to 12 songs, or a book of like multiple chapters. But all of those things, I don't define that. You're going to define that. You're going to say what that thing is. What's that piece that you've been dreaming of putting out into the world? What's that collection of art look like? And I'm not, so yes, there'll be accountability, but I'm not here with the big stick making you do anything. I can't make you do anything. I can't even make you get on a call to speak to me. And I'm not trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is offer support, offer a place for you to be guided, supported, believed in, cheered on, encouraged, and celebrated in a way that you've never been before, and in a way that's ongoing and, important. And I heard somebody describe it before. Someone was describing Zen masters. Now, I'm not a Zen master, but they were saying that their leadership was less like kind of a cranky, stick-wielding, spiritual master, and much more like a brother. And I really think that probably describes how I work best with people, is that relationship where it's encouragement and support. And yes, there might be a challenge. You might need to challenge your thinking, or you might need to challenge the way you speak about yourself. You might need to challenge some of your premises, but it will be learning, it will be growing, and I really think you're going to come out of the other side with something really interesting and quite wonderful. Okay, I'm going to focus on the rest of my drive home. You have a super day. If you have a look, I'm going to point up this side. Yeah, have a look up here, and YouTube will suggest another video for you. If you want my starter kit, which is for Space for Creativity, it starts with a video, which is Digital Detox. The link's in the description, and click on that. You'll get on my email list, and you'll find out more about my services and things that are coming up and ways in which I can support you. Okay. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of your day.